if you've tried manifestation techniques for months without concrete results, you're not broken, you're just observing wrong. The quantum field doesn't respond to desperate wanting. It responds to neutral awareness. I'm going to prove why people who don't care get everything effortlessly, while those who try hardest stay stuck. This changes everything you thought you knew about reality creation. There's an invisible force governing every manifestation attempt you've ever made. Right at this moment, as you focus on these words, your consciousness is collapsing infinite possibilities into the experience you're having. Not as metaphor, but as documented quantum mechanics playing out in real time. Most people approach manifestation backwards. They pour energy into wanting, affirming, visualizing with intensity. But they miss the crucial discovery from quantum labs worldwide. The universe responds to the quality of your observation, not the strength of your desire. This distinction separates those who struggle for years from those who seem to attract opportunities without trying. The double-slit experiment changed everything. Particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until the moment of observation. Then reality locks into place. Your awareness isn't just witnessing what happens. It's actively choosing which version of reality unfolds. Hit subscribe and the notification bell before we go deeper. The algorithm needs to know you want more content that bridges cutting-edge science with practical manifestation. Let me reveal exactly how to use quantum observation to collapse your intentions into form. How to transform your mind into the most powerful reality-shaping instrument that exists. Here's something that will shift how you understand manifestation completely. The reason your visualizations, affirmations, and rituals don't produce concrete results stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about how reality actually operates. Notice something curious. When you desperately want something, when you focus all your energy on getting that job, relationship, or amount of money, what typically happens? Usually nothing, or worse, the opposite manifests. This isn't bad luck or unworthiness. This is pure quantum physics in action. The double-slit experiment revealed something revolutionary. When no one observes, particles pass through both slits simultaneously, creating interference patterns. But place a detector, an observer, and the particle chooses only one path. The mere presence of observation collapses all possibilities into a single outcome. Now think about your life. How often are you truly observing versus desperately wanting? When you crave something intensely, your mind constantly measures its absence. You observe the lack, the delay, the frustration. The quantum universe responds precisely to what you're observing. More lack, more delay, more frustration. Tesla understood this intuitively when he said, "To discover the universe's secrets, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He wasn't discussing positive thinking. He was pointing to the observation state that determines which quantum frequency you collapse into reality. The problem is, we confuse manifestation with manipulation. We try forcing the universe to deliver what we want, like bargaining with a vending machine. But the quantum field doesn't work that way. It responds to the neutral observer, not the desperate demander. Here's a practical example. Imagine you want to manifest $10,000. The traditional approach involves visualizing having the money, affirming, "I have $10,000, repeating mantras. But notice what you're actually doing. constantly observing the absence of that money. Each affirmation reminds you that you don't have it yet. The quantum observer functions differently. Instead of wanting the money, you observe possibilities where that money already exists. You become curious about how it will appear, rather than anxious about when it will arrive. This subtle shift in observation quality completely changes what you're collapsing into reality. Princeton University researchers documented this through the Global Consciousness Project. They discovered that focused intention can influence random number generators, not through mental force, but through what they called coherent attention, a relaxed yet present observation that allows possibilities to organize naturally. Here's the key. The universe isn't working against you when manifestations fail. You're simply observing the wrong variables. You're collapsing exactly what you're paying attention to, which is usually the absence of what you want. The solution isn't to stop wanting things. It's learning to consciously observe possibilities instead of focusing on current limitations. When you observe a possibility without desperation, without rushing, without attachment, you allow it to manifest in the most suitable time and form. Comment below. Have you noticed that the more you want something, the harder it becomes to get? That's evidence you're observing the wrong way. There's a massive difference between wanting something and observing something. It's the difference between trying to control the quantum experiment and allowing it to unfold naturally. Most people spend their entire lives wanting things and wondering why they don't arrive. Wanting is a contracted state. When you want something, you constantly measure the distance between where you are and where you want to be. You observe the gap, the lack, the frustration of not having it yet. Every thought about what you want confirms that you don't have it. Observing is completely different. It's a state of openness, of neutral curiosity. When you observe a possibility, you're not trying to force it to happen. You're simply available for it to manifest. Like a scientist who sets up an experiment and waits to see which result appears. In quantum physics, there's a fundamental principle called superposition. All possibilities exist simultaneously until the moment of observation. But here's the crucial detail. Observation quality determines which possibility collapses. Desperate, anxious, controlling observation collapses possibilities based on scarcity and resistance. Neutral, curious, detached observation collapses possibilities based on abundance and natural flow. Let me give you an analogy that clarifies everything. Imagine you're thirsty and have two options: desperately chasing water, or simply turning on a faucet and observing water flow, which allows you to receive water more easily. When you chase, you're in wanting state. When you turn the faucet and observe, you're in allowing state. The quantum universe functions like an infinite faucet of possibilities, but it only flows when you're in observation allowing mode, not desperation wanting mode. People who manifest naturally, effortlessly, share one characteristic. They operate in observer mode by instinct. They don't constantly check if manifestations are arriving. They don't get anxious about timing. They don't control details of how things happen. Instead, they place intentions in the quantum field, like planting seeds, then observe with curiosity how life organizes to bring results. This relaxed observation allows synchronicities to emerge. Have you noticed that when you stop desperately wanting something, it tends to appear more easily? This isn't destiny's irony, it's applied quantum physics. The moment you release attachment, you shift from contracted observation to expanded observation. The detached observation technique works like this. You clearly define what you want to manifest, but instead of measuring whether it's arriving, you become curious about how the universe will organize to bring it to you. It's like watching a movie where you don't know the ending, but you're interested in discovering it. Let me give you a concrete example with financial manifestation. Instead of affirming, "I need $50,000," wanting state, you observe, "I'm curious to see how $50,000 will flow into my life." Notice the energetic difference between these approaches. The first creates tension, urgency, attachment. You constantly measure whether money is coming. The second creates openness, relaxation, trust. You become available to receive in ways where limited mind couldn't imagine. The quantum field always responds to your observation quality. Observe with desperation, and it organizes desperate situations. Observe with confidence, and it organizes confident situations. Observe with curiosity, and it organizes surprising synchronicities. This is the difference between people who struggle to get things and people who allow things to flow naturally. It's not luck, not privilege. It's the difference between operating in wanting mode and operating in observing mode. Practice this today. Choose something small you want to manifest. Instead of desperately affirming that you want it, become curious about how it will appear in your life. Observe the synchronicities that begin emerging when you change your attention quality. You know those people who seem to have everything in life without apparent effort, who mention an opportunity and it appears the following week, who think of someone and that person calls, who need something and find it in exactly the right place at the right time. It's not luck. It's not privilege. These people naturally operate in what I call the observer state, without even knowing they're doing it. They have a specific quantum observation profile that allows possibilities to collapse quickly into reality. Let me tell you about a fascinating study. Edinburgh University researchers measured brainwaves of people who have frequent paranormal experiences versus people who never do. They discovered something surprising. The group with unusual experiences operates in a different brain state most of the time. They called this state expanded consciousness. It's not meditation, not trance. It's a form of relaxed but highly receptive attention that captures information the common analytical mind misses. These people are constantly in quantum observation mode. Natural manifestors have specific characteristics. First, they don't obsess over results. When they want something, they place the intention in the field and forget about it. They don't constantly check if it's working. This absence of attachment allows the quantum field to organize without interference. Second, they trust universal timing. They don't try forcing things to happen on their schedule. They intuitively understand there's optimal timing for everything, and forcing before the right moment can disrupt the process. This trust allows synchronicities to align naturally. Third, they pay attention to signals. When the universe organizes to bring a manifestation, there are always clues along the way. Conversations they accidentally overhear, ideas that emerge from nowhere, people who appear unexpectedly. Natural manifestors catch these signals and follow the guidance. Fourth, they don't resist the how. When you want something specific in a specific way, you limit the possibilities the universe has to deliver it. Natural manifestors define what they want, but leave the how completely open. This exponentially multiplies the routes manifestation can use. Forced manifestors, on the other hand, have opposite characteristics. They obsess over results, constantly checking if it's working. They want to control timing, becoming impatient when it doesn't happen on their schedule. They ignore signals because they're focused only on the final result. And worse, they define not only what they want, but exactly how it should happen. Here's a concrete example. A natural manifestor I know wanted to change jobs. She defined that she wanted work paying at least 30% more at a company with aligned values and with schedule flexibility. After that, she forgot she was job hunting and continued living normally. 2 weeks later, in a casual conversation with a friend, she discovered the friend's company was opening a position perfect for her profile. It wasn't on job sites, wasn't publicly announced. The information came through synchronicity. A forced manifestor in the same situation would do differently. They'd define the specific job, at the specific company, in the specific position, starting on a specific date. They'd spend days sending resumes, doing forced networking, stressing because they're not receiving responses. The anxiety and attachment would block exactly the synchronicities that could bring the perfect opportunity. The difference lies in observation quality. Natural manifestors observe with openness and trust. Forced manifestors observe with tension and control. The quantum field responds to observation quality, not desire intensity. How can you cultivate conscious observer state? First, learn to set clear intentions, then release them. Like planting a seed and trusting it will germinate without digging it up to check if it's growing. Observe with curiosity. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe something better is coming. Maybe you need to learn something first. Fourth, pay attention to small synchronicities. They're the universe's GPS, showing you're on the right path. People who appear at the right moment, information that arrives when you need it, opportunities that emerge from nowhere. The 3 levels of quantum observation work like this. Level 1 is basic observation. You notice what's happening around you. Level 2 is intuitive observation. You catch patterns and connections between events. Level 3 is quantum observation. You become conscious of how your attention influences what manifests. Most people live at level 1. Natural manifestors spontaneously operate at levels 2 and 3. But you can develop this consciously through practice. Start by paying attention to how your observation quality affects the results you obtain. Here's a truth that could change everything for you. Time is just an illusion of 3-dimensional consciousness. In quantum physics, all possibilities exist simultaneously in a timeless field. What determines when something manifests in your linear reality isn't real time, but the coherence of your quantum observation. Einstein proved time is relative. Hawking showed it can behave non-linearly near black holes. But you don't need a black hole to alter your manifestation's timing. You need to understand how to synchronize your consciousness with the quantum field of possibilities. Every time an impossible coincidence happens in your life, you're experiencing accelerated reality collapse. That moment when you think of someone and they immediately call. when you need specific information and it appears casually in an elevator conversation, when you visualize something and it happens at logic-defying speed. These synchronicities aren't luck. They're evidence that you momentarily achieved what I call quantum attunement, a state where your observation perfectly aligns with a specific possibility in the field. When this happens, the time between intention and manifestation practically disappears. Let me explain how this works through morphic field theory. Biologist Rupert Sheldrake discovered that when something happens for the first time in the universe, it's difficult, but each repetition becomes easier, as if there were invisible grooves facilitating pattern repetition. Applying this to your manifestations, when you want something completely new that you've never manifested before, it might take longer because you're creating a new groove in the field. But when you're manifesting something you've achieved before, or that aligns with patterns you already master, speed increases dramatically. This is why some people manifest money quickly but struggle with relationships, or vice versa. They've already created specific grooves in the quantum field. The key to accelerating any manifestation is identifying patterns where you already have well-established grooves and using that same energy for new areas. The Quantum Attunement Protocol I'll teach you works in 3 stages: preparation, alignment, and release. It's not meditation, not visualization. It's a specific way to tune your consciousness to the field of possibilities. Preparation. You create a state of fertile emptiness in the mind. Not trying not to think, but creating internal space for new possibilities to emerge. Like clearing a table before placing something new on it. This usually takes 2 to 5 minutes of conscious breathing and body relaxation. Alignment. You place your intention in the field, but in a specific way. Instead of visualizing the final result, you attune to the vibrational frequency of what you want to manifest. Like tuning a radio station. You don't need to understand electromagnetic waves, just find the right frequency. Release. You completely let go of the need to control when or how manifestation will happen. This release isn't giving up, it's active trust. Like igniting a rocket and trusting it will reach its destination without holding on to it during the entire flight. A real case I witnessed: an entrepreneur with serious cash flow problems. He had tried everything: loans, investors, desperate sales. Nothing worked because he was operating on desperation frequency, which attracts more desperate situations. When he learned the Quantum Attunement Protocol, the quantum field responded by organizing a situation his anxious mind could never have planned. The timing wasn't coincidence. It was direct result of the change in his observation quality. Another example, someone who wanted a romantic relationship for years. She had a specific list of the ideal partner, performed rituals, used apps, forced encounters. The more she tried, the more she attracted frustrating situations or incompatible people. When she began using quantum attunement, she stopped focusing on finding someone and started attuning to the frequency of love she wanted to experience. Within 3 weeks, in a completely unexpected situation, at an astronomy lecture, she decided to attend on impulse. She met the person she's been with for 2 years. The universe didn't organize a traditional romantic situation. It organized a convergence of genuine interests that created authentic connection. This was only possible because she stopped trying to control the how and allowed the quantum field to create the optimal scenario. The difference between slow manifestation and fast manifestation lies in resistance. The more you want to control details, the more resistance you create. The more you trust the quantum process, the faster possibilities collapse into reality. Practice this right now. Choose something small you want to manifest. Apply the protocol. Create internal space, attune to the frequency of what you want, and completely release control over when and how it will happen. Observe how quickly synchronicities begin appearing when you change your attention quality. But there's an issue I haven't addressed yet that might be sabotaging all your manifestations without you realizing it. It relates to invisible beliefs operating in your subconscious. Old programming that makes you observe the same limitations even when you're trying to manifest abundance. You can perfectly master quantum observation technique and understand how possibility collapse works. But if active subconscious programming contradicts your conscious intentions, you'll continue manifesting the same limiting patterns. It's like trying to tune a radio station while there's constant signal interference. No matter how much you adjust the frequency, background programming keeps distorting reception. If you've made it this far, comment, "I am available." This shows me you've truly absorbed the content and are ready to apply this quantum understanding of manifestation. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'll continue bringing these cutting-edge concepts that connect science and manifestation in ways you won't find elsewhere. Now click on the next video that will appear on screen. There, I'll show you how to identify and reprogram these subconscious interferences that might be blocking your manifestations, even when you're correctly applying all quantum principles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.